Imagine waking up 100,000 years ago. No words, no sentences, no names. You can see people around you. You live with them. You hunt with them. You depend on them to survive. But there's one problem. You still can't say, "There's danger behind you." So, how did ancient humans communicate before language existed? This question sounds simple, but it leads to something extraordinary. Because before humans built cities, before farming, before writing, and long before the first spoken languages, our ancestors were already sharing information. They had to. Survival demanded it. A human living in the wild had to communicate constantly. Food, danger, pain, direction, cooperation. Without communication, group survival becomes almost impossible. And this is where many people imagine something wrong. They picture early humans as nearly silent creatures making random grunts. But reality was probably very different. Long before full language evolved, ancient humans almost certainly had rich systems of communication built from three powerful tools: gestures, facial expressions, and vocal sounds. In other words, body language came first, and that makes sense. Even today, a huge amount of human communication happens without words. You can instantly understand fear from wide eyes, anger from tightened muscles, warning from a pointing hand, pain from a scream. None of that requires language. Even babies understand some of these signals before learning words. That's because many communication signals are deeply rooted in biology. We inherited them from older ancestors, and we're not unique in this. Look at chimpanzees. Our closest living relatives use gestures extensively. They point, reach, signal requests, invite grooming, warn others. Researchers have observed chimpanzees using dozens of intentional gestures to influence group behavior. That matters, because it suggests the roots of human communication existed before humans themselves. In other words, our ancestors didn't suddenly invent communication from nothing. They evolved from species already capable of meaningful social signaling. So imagine an early human group. A hunter spots movement in tall grass. He freezes. He raises a hand. Everyone stops. No words were necessary. That single gesture may have saved lives. Now imagine a different situation. A group is preparing to hunt a large animal. They need timing. They need coordination. They need trust. One person crouches low. Another points around the side. Another imitates the animal's movement. Even without speech, information is being transferred. This is called pantomime, using the body to represent actions, objects, or events. Many scientists believe pantomime may have played a major role in the transition toward language. Why? Because pantomime can express surprisingly complex ideas. Not just look, but things like, the animal went that way, go around the back, wait until it comes closer. That's far more advanced than simple emotion signaling. It begins to approach symbolic communication, and symbols change everything. A symbol is when something stands for something else, a sound for an object, a gesture for an idea, a mark for a memory. Once a species begins thinking symbolically, communication can explode in complexity, and humans became exceptionally good at this. But speech likely didn't appear overnight. Language probably evolved gradually over hundreds of thousands of years. Small improvements, generation after generation. A sound becomes associated with meaning. That sound gets reused. Others copy it. Eventually, the group shares common vocal symbols, and something revolutionary happens. Sounds stop being just emotional reactions. They become intentional information. This is a huge leap. Animals make sounds too. Birds call, wolves howl, monkeys alarm call when predators appear. But human language goes far beyond fixed signals. We can combine sounds endlessly. That ability is called productivity. With a limited number of sounds, humans create infinite meaning. That's one reason language is so powerful. But before that full system emerged, early humans probably relied heavily on something between gesture and speech, proto-language. Proto-language wasn't a full language like English or Chinese. There was probably no grammar, no complex sentence structure, no tense markers, no words for abstract philosophy. Instead, imagine short, meaningful vocal units, simple sound patterns tied to important things: food, water, fire, danger, come, go, mine, help. Think about survival priorities. Those are the kinds of meanings that matter first. And vocal communication had a major advantage over gestures. You don't need visual contact. That matters in darkness, in forests, during storms, or while carrying objects. A warning shout can travel where a hand signal cannot. This may be one reason vocal communication became increasingly valuable, but another force may have pushed language forward even more. Social bonding. Humans are intensely social. We survive through cooperation. We form alliances. We share knowledge. We care about reputation and trust. In primates, grooming strengthens social bonds. Chimpanzees spend large portions of their day grooming each other. But there's a problem. Physical grooming doesn't scale well. If groups become large, grooming everyone takes too much time. Some anthropologists proposed a fascinating idea. Language became vocal grooming. Instead of bonding through touch, humans bonded through conversation. You don't need to physically groom 10 people. You can talk to 10 people, laugh with them, tell stories, share warnings, build group identity. Speech may have helped humans maintain much larger social groups than other primates, and larger groups created enormous advantages. More protection, more shared knowledge, more cooperative hunting, more childcare, more survival. This may explain why language became such a powerful evolutionary advantage. But when did true language appear? That's one of the hardest questions in human evolution. Language leaves almost no fossils. Words don't fossilize. Sentences don't fossilize. We have to infer language indirectly, from anatomy, from tools, from social complexity, from symbolic behavior. For speech, anatomy matters. Humans need fine breath control, precise tongue movement, and a vocal tract capable of producing varied sounds. One important clue comes from the hyoid bone, a small bone in the throat involved in speech-related mechanics. Some fossil evidence suggests Neanderthals had hyoid bones very similar to modern humans. That's fascinating, because it suggests they may have been capable of speech. And if Neanderthals had language like speech, then complex communication may be much older than many people assume, possibly hundreds of thousands of years old. There's also genetics. A gene called FOXP2 became famous because of its connection to speech and language abilities. Humans carry versions of this gene linked to language function. Interestingly, Neanderthals also carried a similar version. That doesn't prove they spoke exactly like us, but it strengthens the case that language-related abilities evolved deep in human history. Then there's symbolic behavior. Around tens of thousands of years ago, archaeological evidence shows something extraordinary. Cave art, decorated objects, burials, body ornaments, pigments, symbols everywhere. And symbols tell us something important. The human mind had changed. People weren't just surviving. They were representing ideas, identity, belief, memory, meaning. That level of symbolic thought strongly connects with language, because language is one of the most powerful symbolic systems ever created. And once language became sophisticated enough, human civilization changed forever. Knowledge no longer had to die with individuals. It could spread across families, across generations, across tribes. A single discovery, how to make better tools, where to find water, how to avoid poison, could now be taught efficiently. That created cumulative knowledge. Each generation could build on the last. This may be one of the greatest turning points in human history, because once humans could communicate complex ideas reliably, progress accelerated, slowly at first, then dramatically. Stories emerged, teaching emerged, culture emerged, and eventually civilization emerged. So how did ancient humans communicate before language? Not with silence, not with random noises. They used eyes, hands, faces, posture, movement, pantomime, emotional sounds, then gradually shared vocal symbols, then proto-language, then full language. And somewhere along that long journey, something remarkable happened. Humans stopped communicating only about the present. We began communicating about things not in front of us. Yesterday's hunt, tomorrow's plan, an invisible danger, a remembered story, an imagined future. That may have been the real breakthrough. Language didn't just help humans describe reality. It helped us create realities inside other people's minds. And that ability changed everything. Right now, as you listen to these words, your brain is building images. Ancient forests, early humans, silent gestures, campfires. None of them are physically here, yet you can see them. That is the power of language. A system so powerful, it lets one mind transfer imagination directly into another. And it all may have started with something incredibly simple. A glance, a sound, a raised hand, a warning, a signal that said only one thing. Look.